So hello everybody. Welcome if you are new to the channel, and welcome back if you love me. I love you too. So we're here for the full moon in Virgo, and it's a doozy. We're going to go over the cosmic karate, which is the energies that the astrology is giving first before we get into the secret code names. The secret code names, so that you can decide which one you are drawn to in advance, are Cinderellie, MisEnchanted, Golden Goose, and the Beanstalk. And the Beanstalk. So before we get into the secret code names, I did want to go over this full moon so you guys can see what I'm looking at, because I don't know how to do all that fancy schmancy screen share shit yet. I old school print things out. Hey Lori, how are you? Yep, this is what we're looking at. So you can see that the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury are all pretty much conjunct in Pisces, with this huge oppositional energy to the Moon, Lilith, and Juno, who are conjunct in Virgo. Okay, we also have some interesting Jupiter energy going on with Venus, Mars, and Pluto, and there's some Ceres action tied in there. And then we've got a wild quincunx going on between the North Node and Chiron with that Lilith Juno energy, with some interesting challenges to Neptune as well. So we're going to go over this so that you can kind of see how it's playing out in your own life and the lives of those around you. People most heavily affected by this energy are Virgo and Pisces, Taurus, Aquarius, Gemini, Sag, Leo, and Scorpio. All right, they are the most affected signs. Kind of feeling it in that order too. So if you have any strong or significant placements in one of those or multiple of those, then you're going to want to pay attention. Okay. Mind you, this is the channel where we care just a little bit more about your healings than your feelings. Because when we go through the healing, you feel better. It's my purpose and intention in life. Okay. I also don't sugarcoat myself. I'm a full-blown Sag stellium, and I've got a detrimental 12th house filled with Gemini, Chiron, and Lilith. So my words are blunt as fuck. If you're new, you've been fair warned. For all of you who are returning, you know, and that's why you love me. Yup. You're most welcome. You're most welcome. So I got this shirt because it was definitely fitting for the energy, right? The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. And with all of the mutable energy going on with this full moon, it's ringing true. First and foremost, and especially for mutable signs, especially even more for Pisces and Virgo, because this is taking place in your signs, there is a huge spotlight on what it is that is restricting the soul within the self. It's restricting the psyche. It's restricting your ability to communicate with your divinity. And that might be really obvious to you in the reality. For Gemini and Sagittarius, who are squares to this energy, it will be a challenge for you to see that it is really clearly right in front of you, especially if it is being communicated to you through someone whose sun sign falls into your own 12th house, regardless of sign. So if you're a Sag rising and my 9-degree Sag sun falls into your 12th house, I'm probably communicating with you something that you really need to look at. And the challenge to rise to would be to heal through it, right? As an example. For you in your own life, in your own chart, you're gonna start to put the pieces together on who that is, right? Connecting the dots. The moon in Virgo. If you are a natal moon in Virgo or a sun in Virgo or have any significant placements in Virgo, especially sun or moon, you are probably feeling a great deal of what is like spiritual attack or psychic attack. Okay. If I'm going to be real and honest. Hey, Kelly, how are you? If I'm going to be real and honest. Okay. So if you've got Virgo energy with all the opposition coming from Saturn, the Sun, and Mercury, you may have really intrusive or invasive energies trying to control your psyche, right? This is all-consuming thoughts, all-consuming fears, even odd obsessions that you don't know why you're obsessing over it. You may even be obsessing over the fact that you want to let go of it and feel the inability to do that, right? If you have strong Virgo energy. You also may be feeling really restricted or very limited in your ability to release yourself from some kind of spiritual adversary that is seconding as an earth angel, but the shadow side of it, like a fallen angel. See, Pisces being the 12th house, anybody who has significant placements in your 12th house or in Pisces, they can be considered a spiritual adversary, but also an earth angel. And we don't necessarily know how to discern between the two. Like, for example, so that you guys can understand how this applies to like real life situations with people. And you've probably witnessed it, okay? When we deal with relationships that are toxic, right? Or we witness them with other people, relationships that are toxic. One person's consistently pouring in the best of themselves. One person is consistently taking the best of that person and not reciprocating, right? Where you have a one-way pour kind of relationship. People would consider the spiritual adversary being the drain or the narcissist or the sociopath, right? The quote unquote toxic individual. And the empath or the giver would be considered, you know, the one that is the angel, right? The earth angel, hidden in plain sight, right? Because their value is not being recognized or reciprocated by the counterparts. If you look at it from the perspective of them working to heal each other, the narcissist cannot actually heal with the empath, no matter how much the empath pours, right? They won't actually heal unless they involve themselves with another narcissist or sociopath in order to reap that karma, right? And we're talking about Saturn and Pisces. It's no different with an empath, right? The empath needs to learn to receive the same kind of love that they give, and they're not going to receive that healing should they stay with the narcissist. So in a way, they are both each other's angels, but they are also both each other's adversaries, because they are giving what the other needs truly in order to push them into what they deserve. But they're also holding each other back from the actual healing that needs to take place with energies of their own quote unquote kind, right? That a narcissist would need a narcissist to heal and an empath would need an empath to heal. Being with each other stagnates or stunts that growth edge. So the 12th house, we confuse people that we love deeply, in soul and take abuse as our angels, right, in this life, when they are essentially our restrictive and our restriction, and vice versa, right, and vice versa. So when we're looking at dynamics and clearings coming in with the full moon, because full moons are all about big releases of energy, where the feminine aspect of the self, the moon, is in complete highlight from the sun, right? The sun being the masculine or yang facet of the self. It is essentially where the midhaven and the IC line have to find agreeance in your chart. So the midhaven being the part of the self that projects out, it's where the sun was at its highest point in the sky, and then the IC line being the lowest part of the chart, and the entryway to the 4th house, which is ruled by the moon, the nurtured self, or the eternal child, right? the feminine energy that receives everything the masculine is choosing, right? Everything our mind chooses, our heart feels. We're like, okay, I don't like making that choice. Making that choice didn't feel good, right? An empath would say, well, being in love with a narcissist didn't feel good. I'm not going to keep making that choice, right? At some point that clicks. It's no different with a narcissist saying that they don't like being with an empath because they feel undeserving. It doesn't feel good to be with an empath because they don't know how to reciprocate and they don't know how to receive the love in ways that is beneficial to the person giving it. It actually hurts them more to be with a narcissist because they feel like they can't equal up or measure up, right? There's an inadequacy there that's healing. So when we get into these energies, right, Virgo, Pisces, Virgo being the sign of our everyday connection with other people. It's our mundane routine type work and service to others. You know, when you think about what you do every day for work and the people that you interact with, you're feeling through things, right? You're picking up on the emotions of other people. You're intuiting things right now with the moon in Virgo, the details of things. You may even be getting pinged to do specific things in order to heal, because Virgo, being the vestigial virgin, is also a symbol of charity, right? She's a goddess of charity. So, hey, Lala, how you doing? And then when you have, you know, this Piscean energy with the 12th house of self-undoing, we don't realize the integration between the two, where the wounds of other people hide in our 12th house and they become a part of our psyche, right? The things that we take on in childhood, the things that we take on, the wisdom teachings of other people, partners in this life that don't actually serve, right? That don't actually serve us when we take on the crosses of other people. Like if you look at the symbol of Saturn, I want you to get this image, right? This is Saturn right here. This little scoopy bump right here kind of looks like a head and neck, right? And then there's the cross behind it. So it is literally the cross in which we hang ourselves. All right. That is the oppression that we feel. Hey, Christina, how you doing? It is literally the cross in which we hang ourselves. And with the sun shining a huge light on it, it's almost impossible to ignore what we are burdening ourselves for. It is where we become a victim of the opinions and expectations or the quote unquote rules of other people, right? Especially bureaucracy or higher governments or higher structures or hierarchies of people, even in the family, right? Like children are beneath their parents are beneath their parents, right? Patriarchy, matriarchy, all that stuff. And so it's the crosses in which we hang ourselves that are deep within the psyche, and that's coming to light right now. We're being guided to think about that, right? Think about how certain things that we were taught throughout our life became the crosses in which we're carrying for other people as we move through different relationship dynamics in this life, right? Especially with people in our everyday work, right? Virgo is a house of work. So this is not necessarily going to pertain to romantic dynamics so much as it is going to pertain to people that you work with or incorporate some kind of money energy with, right? Hey, Sherry, how are you? I love all my beautiful diamonds and my moderators in the chat. I fucking love it. So it's working relationships, right? People that we have worked with, that we have heart ties to, mostly because of the South Node in Libra and the Venusian Martian energy that is conjunct in Aquarius. Aquarius being a sign of soul family, as being squared by Jupiter and Taurus. So this is a big conflict in the area of money, big conflict in the area of earning and stability, and how we utilize the higher masculine and higher feminine, you know, octaves, so to speak, how we incorporate those higher vibrations in order to choose loving things in regards to other people, and the ripple or the wave of energy that we create through it. We can allow it to be transformative and it's light, or we could take the lower aspect of that energy vibration and take hits to our finances, okay? Take hits to our possessions, have to sacrifice certain things. So with that square going on, if you fail to take a moment and look at the higher perspective, if you fail to take the appropriate steps, right? Because Virgo is all about every single step. Virgo is a meticulous perfectionist. And there is a reason for this. Virgo is the reason why 99% is not 100, especially in regards to the soul, which is its integration in Pisces, and the integration of reaching unconditional love versus being lost in the illusion of control, which comes later with Aries, right? If people are choosing to be a victim, if they are choosing to point the finger, if they are saying it's your fault, you did this, you triggered that, you're the problem, one, they're going to lose a significant relationship with them that is a balance in the mirror. With the South Node in Libra, it's going to start erasing that partnership, but it's going to leave a wound, right? Chiron leaves a wound. It's a healer that goes through a lot of pain, right? Chiron is a wisdom teacher, a healer, but is constantly sacrificing the self, especially in the sign of Aries, which is tied to a sense of competitiveness, needing to be the leader, needing to be in control, right? It's that Aryan emperor energy when you feel like you are above other people, and you can say, no, I know I'm not above other people, and we're all equal. And it's like, okay, your words are great, right? Your words are great. You know, you and this person are equal. So why aren't you acting like it? You know, why are you pointing the finger and saying them, knowing that you're equal, and that if it's them, it is also you then, right? And Virgo is saying you need to take the steps to mend that, because with the Lilith and Juno conjunction, Lilith being direct and Juno being retrograde, Juno is an asteroid that represents the High Mother, right? Juno is the High Mother, and in my personal belief, an incarnation of Saturn. Okay, an incarnation of Saturn, just like Jupiter betrayed Saturn, right? Zeus betrayed Kronos, the father. He's constantly betraying Hera, which is the feminine manifestation of himself that he is in union with, right? His mirror. So if you think about Hera, he is constantly betraying Hera, and she is constantly seeking revenge to put him in his place and keep him on the straight and narrow, which unfortunately always fails, right? So if you think about Juno being the high feminine or the reincarnation of karma, the High Mother nurturing energy that Juno represents being tied to Lilith, which is the great liberator, the most misunderstood and vilified facet of the feminine. It's the part of the self that if we do not take the time to separate ourselves from vengeance or spite, no matter what degree that takes, because we can choose outward spite and revenge. That can actively be a choice. The worst, though, is an unconscious spite or an unconscious revenge. Well, you hurt me doing this, so the action I'm taking or the words that I'm speaking are going to hurt you back. And we do it unconsciously. It is a defense mechanism. If you are unaware of your own victim mentality, if you have not healed certain things within the self, I guarantee you, you are going to be pointing the finger and not allowing the apology or compassion that comes along with Piscean energy, right? It's sometimes represented as the Page of Cups. It is also the High Priestess. This is Persephone's energy, right? So we're talking about the moon, right? Which is also Pisces energy in tarot, right? So if you're looking at the different facets of the energy, the archetypal energies here inside the cosmos right now, especially because we have Ceres there at the top of the chart and trine with this Jupiter, Moon, Lilith, Virgo, Juno type energy. Ceres rules the seasons. She's a fertile goddess, but she is also the broken heart chakra, right? She's also the broken heart chakra. Ceres is a dwarf planet that moves around in the asteroid belt, right? And some believe that it is the core, the remaining core of the planet that was once there and destroyed, right? By Jupiter, and in a sense, Mars, which, to be fair, with Mars and Pluto being so close there in alignment with Venus, it's almost like this, if you want to take it, impulse that was being guided in the background that we do not see, right? Which is also representative of Pisces energy, is what we do not see. It's our own blind spot. So when we have people shining lights in our blind spot and we're dealing with this broken heart chakra, right, where the inner child or the inner feminine was quote unquote snatched away, we're taking our anger out at the wrong people, right? We're taking our frustration out and pointing the finger at the wrong people. There is always something behind the energy, right? Something or someone, a force outside of the entire situation that is pushing someone to act in a certain way. Hey, Tessa, how are you? I love you too. So you have to understand, like, people don't do things or say things for no reason. There is a reason behind everything they say and do, whether it's a wound or a bureaucratic corporation type force, right? With Saturn outside the self, something learned, right? Something mercurial, something learned outside of the self. People are not just taking random acts of whatever. There is something that is pushing the individual to pursue certain actions or communications. And if you fail to see that, you're going to point your finger at the wrong person. You could absolutely find yourself in abandonment of the High Mother energy with Lilith and Juno conjunct there, that you would actually be forced to take a couple steps back before you can start moving forward again if you are feeling like you're in that victim mentality. Now, with the two semi-squares going on between Venus and Mars conjunct in Aquarius and Jupiter, we have Neptune. Neptune in Pisces, it is on the rising of this energy, at least from the perspective of where I am in the States, okay? It is on the rising, and we're talking about the illusion versus the dream, the fall from grace versus the return to unconditional love, right? We're talking about this vibration in Pisces where the soul is attempting to sing in its highest vibration in connection with spirit, source, creator, universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And yet there's this fog of fear, right? There's this fog of fear. And so people dealing with these types of energies where they're afraid to look at the self, especially because Neptune does fall right inside that first house, right? That's Neptune right there, falling right inside the first house. You have to be aware of potential spiritual egotism, right? Because Pisces is also a sign of faith and spirituality, and the sign of the self ruled naturally by Aries, where Chiron is. Yeah, patience is... I I've been having to pull a lot of internal energy for patience this week. I feel you. But there's this potential to sacrifice your own spirituality due to your own ego formed around your spirituality. So an example would be a spiritual practitioner or teacher of some kind, feeling like it's someone else's fault that they're not healed, and they are, they themselves are healed and it's this person's fault, but they're failing to realize the mirror of the Piscean energy, which is that angel adversary duality that is simultaneously happening, right? That they're actually equals. One is not above the other. So, or more ahead of the other, because to be completely honest, if you were quote unquote ahead of someone else energetically, they would not be in your reality. Like attracts like, that is law of attraction. If you were energetically more advanced or higher or evolved than someone else, they would not be in your reality, period. That is universal law. Okay. So if you feel like you are being challenged by people, or that you are more knowledgeable or wiser or whatever than certain people, there is a certain reality that you have to face. There is definitely compassion and forgiveness that need to take place. The vibration of unconditional love needs to be evoked. You might want to call in your angels, your guides, your guardians, gods, goddesses, whoever it is that you trust and pray to higher than yourself, right? Including your higher self, to help you take the steps necessary, because Virgo demands it. Virgo demands you take the steps. If you don't take the steps and fall into victimhood, there is going to be some kind of fall from the high grace of Juno, right, for your self-abandonment. It is a consequence to the resistance to high healing, right? Especially because we do have Mars and Venus in there with Pluto, who is saying you have to go beyond the reality of Jupiter, right? And Taurus, you have to move beyond that reality. You have to be able to see above what the reality looks like. You have to be able to tune into that high frequency and act in alignment in order to transform things. That's your ripple. You've got to be able to nurture it despite feeling like you've been hurt, right? That series at the top of the chart. Pallas is also there in Sag, right? Pallas Athena is at 4 degrees Sagittarius, which is in fact squaring on the sun and moon, okay? If you think about Pallas, Pallas is high wisdom, and being in Sag, it feels like home. It's also our GPS, our defense system that doesn't start the war, but finishes it, right? If you think about Aries being the god of war and Athena being a goddess of war, Aries is an aggressor. Aries will start the war. Pallas Athena does not start the war, but she will finish the war, okay? It is defensive. It is defensive energy. It is self-protection, okay? Wisdom is your greatest self-protection right now. Anybody who has strong or significant Sagittarian placements close to 4 degrees is going to be your greatest ally as far as imparting this wisdom on you, especially because it's falling in its natural 9th house. Keep it in mind. Estrella down here at 0 degrees Cancer is in quincunx to the 0 degree or the 1 degree Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. And Estrella on the IC line, right? Because that's in the 4th house with the IC line, the inner child, has this wild card ability to work out either in high intensity in your favor or wildly fucking horrible, depending on which way of the alignment you choose to go. We're dealing with the house of friendships and soul family, right? With the 11th house where Pluto is. If you can allow soul family to nurture you deeply, Estrella is like a river of diamond white light washing over the self and clearing out karma, right? Clearing out old wounds. It is like the divine white light that we channel in through the crown chakra to fill the body. That's Estrella's energy. So if you allow soul family to help you nurture your inner child in a very deep way, you can go through profound transformations and override the reality, right? Rippling in great waves, where the opposite would be having to take the hard road, right? Having to take the hard road, and nurturing the self back to high alignment. Pluto knows no limits. Okay, so the healing can be grand scale, in a high vibration and be immediately rewarding, or it can know no limits and starts to ask you, how low do you want to go to heal this? Right? How low do you want to go in order to start calling in your angels and praying to spirit? Like, Pluto's like, how far down do I got to take you before you crack into yourself, right? So Pluto being in Aquarius is asking you to find your sense of connection to the world around you, your soul family around you, because if you weren't in alignment with them energetically, they wouldn't be in your present, right? And so therefore everybody in your present is your soul family helping you in some which way, shape, or form, okay? Especially in regards to people that you work with, all right, that you work with, Virgo energy. So with that said, we're going to get into the secret code names now. So the secret code names. We've got Cinderellie, and I literally heard Gus, the mouse, singing like Cinderellie, Cinderellie. That was what I heard. So Cinderellie is the first secret code name we're going to read. And then we've got MisEnchanted, and it was a play on the words the way Spirit showed it to me. It was capital M-I-S, capital E, right? All one word, MisEnchanted. But it's also miss, right? Like M-I-S-S, MisEnchanted when you speak it. So there's an interesting hidden meaning, right? Hidden meaning between the Virgo and Pisces energy going on with that one, MisEnchanted. Then we've got Golden Goose and the Beanstalk, right? Which is very much related to Jack and the Beanstalk. That's what I was seeing. We'll get more into each of those as I get to them. But we're going to start with Cinderellie. I'm using, I just got it today in the mail, a Lenormand Oracle. Okay. And the Broken Mirror Tarot. Also, for those of you divine rebels who got intention candles, we'll be doing that after the live. For all of the Soul Star members, you already know you have a candle. You didn't have to purchase one. It comes with your membership. This will all be done after the live, separate for divine rebel members and higher. Okay. So just to give you an idea on time, let's get into it. Cinderellie timestamp 3252. 5s, 3s, 2s. All right, let's see what's going on. Happily ever after themed. What do you need to know right now? Because this really is all about the steps to reaching that happily ever after. So I'm going to be using the Lenormand as a place to help you identify the energy overall that you're in, and then using the Broken Mirror Tarot to kind of help navigate you through that so that you can align yourself with your happily ever after. Okay, whatever that is for you. Divine knows. The divine knows. What is the overall energy for those who were drawn to Cinderellie? If anybody wants their own secret code name, you can purchase them in my Etsy shop. Okay, I've got them lined up for the entire year in there. All right, so I've got the woman and the garden, the lady, Ace of Spades, 8 of Spades. It almost looks like the lady in the first card there is looking over a balcony to the one here who is bent over the fountain. There's a few people there in the picture. They're all bent over the fountain looking in at what seems like fish and different things inside the fountain. Almost like a meetup, like they're looking to meet up with them. Let's get some insight into this. So you might feel as if your friends are on the outside and they're all together, and maybe you are by yourself and are wanting to join them, but they're quite distracted. I'm almost picking up on a hesitation, almost feeling like, despite the fact that they are your friends and they're familiar with you, there's this odd feeling of strangers as well. So you might not feel like you can relate to your friends right now. It might be, you might be stuck in your head a little bit or having anxiety, maybe because they don't understand certain things that you do or certain truths that you do. And it's almost like you would have to, because there's steps here, right? There's steps. It's almost like you would have to go down, right? The steps down here in the little corner. It's almost like you would have to go down to their level. Let's see. What does this look like? What is this? We got double kings out here. We have fountain imagery twice now. All right. Fool is on bottom. And the 8 of Cups is on top. Looking at the totality of these cards, I feel like you already sense the truth that your friends, right, your real life friends, are not going through the transformation process in spirit the same way that you are. You're going through it with the King of Swords energy, which is high acknowledgement of the self, high perspective. And you care about them deeply, which puts you in between a rock and a hard place because you want to be there for them and help them on their path the same way that you are on your path and improving. But when you overflow to them that love energy to try and lift them up, when you are the fountain, the Ace of Cups here, it becomes really heavy. It's a burden where you're constantly offering compassion in very basic emotional terms for them to understand, but it towers because they're not willing to receive it. You're not actually guided to be around your quote-unquote friends or people who are simply not your family, and not anybody you are currently romantically involved with, right? They would be a friend in soul. They're not a counterpart, and they're not family. You want them. It's almost like you're beckoning them and calling them away from the fountain, right? To come up to where you are, to elevate, because you don't actually want to go down to where they are. They're all very distracted looking inside the fountain at the fish. Fish being a symbol of money, more often it's a symbol of money. And I feel like they're very distracted with everyday mundane realities, where your reality is much more spiritual. You view the mundane as a classroom, where they view it as more of something they need to take advantage of or take for granted. Something they can't touch. Like the fish indicate money, but they're in the fountain and you can't touch it. You can't have it, but that's not where you are. You're not distracted. You're at a higher elevation, looking at the garden on the whole, not just focused on one facet of it. And I feel like you're aware of the fact that you are energetically vibrating out of alignment with certain people, right? You're feeling that. You care about them, but you don't know how to best serve them to get them onto your vibration to continue forward with you. And if you were to go down to them and show them compassion and say, listen, if you follow this, you can actually manifest a fish that you can hold, right? Literally the Page of Cups here. Let me get my focus board. The Page of Cups is literally having a fish fall from the sky and right into his hands. And you're literally in this vibration of, you know, that if you allow the universe to bless you, that the fish comes to you. It doesn't slip through your fingers. And you're trying to teach somebody else that, but they think you're crazy. Like, the fish fall from the sky right into my hands. Money, right? Just manifesting for me. Okay. Like, if you want money, you got to work hard. If you want money, you got to manipulate and betray somebody to get it, right? If you want money, you have to do this to get it. And you're like, no, if you heal your energy, if you elevate your energy, the money just comes in. And they're just like, you know, that's so funny. Like, you finally are off your fucking rocker, right? You finally lost your fucking mind. Money falling out the fucking sky. And it's like, it's not literally falling out the sky, but it's flowing to you from the divine because your energy is in a better place. And they're just like, yeah, whatever, you know, but you feel that disconnect, see, because you and them are on a different wavelength. You know, so it's like you want to connect with them, but you're not actually guided to connect with them. And I think you're feeling the separation. So let's get a guidance card. Now, this deck, it's a combination deck of James Van Praag's Power of Love cards, The Universe Has Your Back deck by Gabrielle Bernstein, and Spirit Junkie by Gabrielle Bernstein. This is actually the deck of cards that I pull from for my soul stars. When they get a guidance card every month in the mail, I pull it from this deck. It's the same deck you can order online too at my Etsy shop, but I'm pulling cards from here today. It's just where I was guided. So we're going to see what comes out as guidance for Cinderellie. And it kind of makes sense too, because if you think about it, like Cinderella with her stepsisters, they weren't her family. They weren't actually her family. They were her stepsisters, right? And she did not resonate with them. And they're like, this is how you get money. This is how you have money, right? This way, that way. And Cinderella was this rags to riches story that literally did just manifest it, right? Because she was in higher alignment. If you think about it, right? Cinderella. True facts. Like, Cinderella was in a better energy and ended up getting Prince Charming, right? which is ultimately the universe, being in unconditional love with the universe and having all of your dreams and wishes granted, right? All of that fulfillment. What is the guidance? Secret code name, Cinderellie. Yeah. My genuine desire to serve clears the path for me to step into my purpose. When you are in high service and listening to your higher guidance, right? Even the wheat symbolism is so indicative of Virgo's energy. And Ceres energy for that matter. The genuine desire to serve clears the path for me to step into my purpose. When you allow yourself to serve the greater collective energy around you through your everyday choices, this is not about preaching, right, or pushing to other people, but by simply serving your own best interest by being in alignment with your highest good, right? Cinderella was not doing anything else but her everyday mundane routine, her chores, right? Mopping the floor, cleaning the fireplace, doing the laundry, right? She was doing these everyday chores, just simply being in alignment, not necessarily connecting with anybody else out there. Her closest friends were the mice, right? Gus and the mice. So it's kind of like knowing, and guides and guardians, it's kind of like knowing that doing your everyday work and allowing yourself not to be drawn into the same resonation as the other people in your life is actually putting you into the path where you start making choices that you know you deserve certain things. Like Cinderella knew she deserved to go to the ball, and she was just fascinated with the idea of being present there, wanted to be a part of it, you know, was guided to do that in the universe, right? Fairy godmother made it happen. Made it happen. The universe, the magic of the universe made it happen. She wasn't going there trying to marry the prince. It was more of just wanting to be present and a fascination with this idea of being in the castle and the wonder of it all, right? This innocent wonder, only to catch the eye of the prince, right? Cinderella knew what she deserved, and she wanted to be in this wonder of the divine and what it can do. So I feel like you're in a similar place. I think as long as you desire to serve your feel-good energy, as long as you're doing the everyday things that you need to do right now, the universe is in fact working out your happily ever after. And the happily ever after is truly being in alignment with your purpose, right? The unveiling of whatever it is, because we don't know what happens to Cinderella once she marries the prince, right? But at that moment when she marries the prince, she steps into her high purpose, right? She steps into her high purpose, whatever that is, right? Oftentimes it is serving the community and the kingdom, right? It is serving the kingdom. So the kingdom also being a play on words with the divine, serving the divine, right? You jump into your soul purpose. So for those of you who resonated with Cinderellie, there is probably a reason why you're not connecting with certain people, why you're not guided to continue connecting with certain people, and are probably making those breaks from them. And it's probably going to happen. I'm not going to say a time, but it's like happening without your trying to make anything happen. Just knowing where you're guided to be and when you're guided to be there, and trusting that the divine will make it happen because you feel like you're supposed to be there. And then everything else works itself out, right? So listen to your inner guidance system. Trust your angels when they're talking to you, and the magic of the universe and what it can do when you truly do stay in alignment with yourself and accept that you are not on the same vibration as other people, and that they are meant to leave your experience, that they are meant to. You're not meant to stay in their experience, and they will witness you from a distance, I'm sure, and ask themselves, well, how did they do it? Right? How did Cinderellie do it? How did they catch the eye of the prince? And it's literally about the genuine energy inside your heart space and your trust in that which is magical, right? The energy of the universe. So happily ever after, I feel, is imminent. It's just a matter of patience and doing as you're guided when you're guided to do it, right? Trusting that if you're meant to be somewhere, that you will get there, especially if you do not give up on the idea. So moving forward to MisEnchanted. MisEnchanted. What does the Lenormand have to say? For MisEnchanted and those who are also drawn to the secret code name. What is the overall energy with this full moon in Virgo for you? The fox. The number 14 is of an alchemical vibration. It is linked to temperance. We also have the 9 of clubs, which is the 9 of wands. It is also linked to Sagittarius, who is in fact the alchemist. The fox represents a sneaky, cunning energy, a deceptive energy, someone who sneaks in and steals the chickens, right? Which is literally seen on this card. It's the fox's den that he's sitting in front of, and he has stolen a chicken, right? And he has stolen a chicken from someone. I'm getting this message from Spirit that either you or someone else around you, if not the mirror, right, both, that someone is going after things that don't belong to them. Going after nourishment from someone else. And it's not meant for them. It's like what's that commandment? Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not covet. It's wanting something that does not belong to you, right? So someone may be in pursuit of you and you are not meant for them. And or you are in pursuit of someone who is not divinely meant for you. They are not your true counterpart. They might be a soulmate from a past life, a karmic tie, blah, 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 you know, whatever you want to call them, but they're not yours. They are meant for someone else, right? They're meant for someone else. There's this deceptive, charming, smart, cunning energy around. And what this does, right, if we're talking about temperance energy, Sagittarian energy, it's a teacher. It's a teacher that you are not meant to chase things, to go after things that are not yours. Because what happens when the fox keeps stealing the chickens from the farmer, and the chickens don't belong to the fox. The hunter, well, the farmer becomes the hunter, right? And starts to hunt the fox to take the fox out so that the fox isn't stealing its chickens, right? The farmer becomes the hunter. And so you put yourself in a precarious position if you yourself are in the fox's energy. If you're dealing with a fox and they're taking something that belongs to you, karma, which is the farmer in the form of the hunter, becomes a bitch, right? Karma becomes a bitch. So I think it's just a matter of time before whatever this energy is put out within the self, that they are no longer, you or someone else is no longer willing to take nourishment from that which is not meant for them, right? The fox can go find food anywhere else in the wild. It doesn't have to steal a chicken from the farmer. It can get it from anywhere naturally, right? It doesn't have to steal it from someone else. So I feel as if you're dealing with an energy that is learning restraint and discipline and patience, right? Sag energy, patience, learning the virtue of patience and the strict spiritual nature of divine law, right? Which is around Sag's energy as well. Sag can be quote unquote very religious, but it is truly about higher law, divine law, which is why Capricorn follows Sag, right? They are the manifestation of the high law. So yeah, I'm feeling like there's some kind of big lesson going on here. Like if you have people throwing themselves at you, but you know they are not your person, they are learning that they cannot go after someone that does not belong to them without it being painful, right? No different than if you were to go after or pursue someone who does not feel like you are their person. Even if you feel like they are, if they do not feel like you are their person, you are going to learn it, right? That it's painful to go after someone or chase after someone that is not in alignment truly, right? Because that and who which is meant for you, you both are in agreement and know and understand that you are meant for each other. And that's a given, right? There's no questions about it. There is no competition involved, because when you go after someone who isn't yours, you are automatically in competition with someone else who might just be that person, right? The one that is meant for them. And you will forever be the third party in that kind of scenario, right? What does this look like? Yeah, it's definitely healing. We got the Star card. You may also be wishing upon a star. Yeah, the Four of Wands. The Eight of Wands. I feel like you're doing a lot of praying and wishing for your own happily ever after, but feel like you keep getting met with resistance or roadblocks or something, some kind of obstacles. And you're getting the pangs of what is or isn't meant for you. And it might be more of what is not meant for you, right? But if you are in pursuit of it anyway, because you're chasing a dream or a vision, right, of your happily ever after, you might feel disenchanted, right? Seven of Wands, lots of wands. The Death card. Nine of Coins. Yeah, you feel like you've hit so many roadblocks. defending your own self and your own healing, defending what it is that you are wishing for, that you have a certain vision of what happily ever after is, and that it keeps dying. Every time you involve yourself with someone, your happily ever after vision with them ends up dying. And now you're feeling like you're just meant to be alone. You've kind of given up on the idea of happily ever after. But it's not that happily ever after doesn't exist. It's that you've been ignoring the pings that you've been getting from the divine that someone is not your person, right? Or saying, all right, well, I guess I'll give it a shot, when you don't actually feel like they are your person. You know what I mean? The Hierophant's on the bottom, big spiritual lessons, and the Eight of Coins on top. There's some kind of spiritual work that you need to be doing. There's some kind of spiritual work that you need to be doing. There may also be this belief system to where you feel like you have to put the work in, you have to put the effort in to make it successful. If it's going to be happily ever after, then you have to put in the work, and so do they. And it's like you're fishing. It's like you're fishing and getting frustrated that the fish is not going on the hook. You know what I mean? Or that the fish keeps eating your bait but not getting caught on the hook. And it's like, maybe you just need to cast your reel out, set it in, right? And just let the universe bring the fish to the hook that is meant to, right? Instead of constantly trying to reel in every single thing that just nibbles, right, at the bait of your energy. I think there's this need to sit and reflect, especially because if you look at this Eight of Coins card, this is why I'm getting all of this. If you look at this Eight of Coins card, the figure is sitting there reading a book while the fishing line is in the water. And there's a shark fin down here, right? You might be trying to reel all kinds of things and getting mad that the fish is not catching on the line, right? And you think you've got this big fish, but it's actually a fucking shark, and it's snapping the line, right? It's taking the bait and snapping the line. And so it's like, if you just let it sit there and do some reflecting, whatever is meant to get caught will hook on that thing, and you will catch it because it's meant for you to catch it, right? I feel like if you're getting pissed off at the sharks, so that's essentially what they are, right? These are energy sharks. This is the covetous fox type energy, right? They're taking something that doesn't even belong to them. Like, what the fuck is a shark doing picking at a worm? You know what I mean? Like, the shark has other fish that it should be going after its own self, but it's, you know, frustrating you and causing you problems because it's not doing what it's meant to do, right? This Eight of Coins is about putting in the work, putting in the effort. It's not doing what it's meant to do. And you're getting frustrated. It's because it's not your person. It's not meant for you. Whatever it is in relation to, right? Whether it is literally relationships, romantic dynamics, and soul contracts and partnerships, or if it has to do with work. I mean, there's so many wands here. There's wands and coins. That's what we've got. We've got wands and we've got coins. This has everything to do with your own spirit, your own internal fire, right? Your willpower, your drive, your vision, and the real world. You think you've got to do it by yourself because no one else is willing to put in the work. And the reality is you're just going after things that aren't meant for you. You're trying to make things that are not meant for you be meant for you. If they're not jiving with the same direction, intention, vision that you hold, they're just not your person. There's no reason to get frustrated about it. It's just a matter of accepting it is what it is. All right, they're showing you. They're not willing to put in the energy. They're not willing to put in the effort. They don't hold the same vision as you. They're visualizing something else and creating something else that you're not interested in, right? And you've got to let it go. You've got to learn to let it go. And instead of being, misenchanted or disenchanted, be grateful, right? Be grateful. That they're showing you who they are. And if they're in your reality, it's because on some level you're in the same energy, right? Trying to take things that are not yours when you're not truly feeling it. You're just hoping for it because you've got this vision and you're wondering why it hasn't shown up yet. This is about you taking time to do the inner work about your belief systems. Love is not meant to be hard work. Relationships are not meant to be hard work. Aligned relationships, healthy relationships are not hard work. Life might require things. Life itself may present difficulty, but a healthy relationship is not hard and rises to every difficulty together. Right? They face it together. It's not a challenge to be in relation to each other. If it's a challenge, it's because it's not alignment. If it's stressful, if it's causing you anxiety, if you feel like you're competing with something else, whether it's another person, another situation, a habit, a whatever, if you feel like you're competing, then they're just not your person. They're meant for someone else. It's like being in love with someone who's a video gamer, but you fucking hate that they video game all the time, and you resent the fact that they play video games because you yourself are not a gamer and they spend all this time gaming. Well, maybe they are meant to be with someone who is also a gamer and they can spend time together video gaming together, right? And they're not worried about how much they're video gaming because it's how they spend time together, right? They don't have to work hard. It's not a stressful process for them. You know what I mean? Like, your person is your person. They're going to mesh with you. It's going to work out. If it's not working out or it becomes a struggle, well, let it just accept it's someone else's, right? Don't hold on to it or covet it like it's yours, and vice versa. You might need to have that conversation with people that are actively pursuing you and not getting the hint. Like, listen, I'm not your person. I know you want me to be your person. You have this vision of what you want me to be, but I am not that. And the sooner you let that vision, that idea of who I am go and accept me for who I really am, you'll be better off, For real. All righty. Golden Goose. Secret code name Golden Goose. The goose that lays the golden eggs. Goose that lays the golden eggs. This is your secret code name, or you were drawn to it. If you were drawn to this, what is the overall energy that this full moon in Virgo is shining a light in to help you heal? The fox came right back out. I'm going to keep them to the side. What else? The fox came right back out. Then we've got the mountain, the tower, the ring, and the lady. This energy if you think about the goose that lays the golden eggs, right? The golden goose. Everybody wants possession of the golden goose because the eggs are so valuable, right? Solid gold eggs, that's valuable. Everybody wants to keep the golden goose who lays the golden eggs because of how much wealth it produces. And it's locked up in the tower and committed, right? Committed to moving through this task of laying golden eggs. That's its purpose. And yet it is locked away from the world. I think the freedom is the biggest challenge. Freedom is the biggest challenge. Well, it's almost like servitude, right? Contracts of servitude and being promised from whoever has you essentially enslaved to them, to give them your wealth, right? To give them your gold, your value. They keep telling you, well, as long as you lay golden eggs for me for a certain amount of time, if you do it for this amount of time, I'll let you go. If you do it for this amount of time, I'll set you free. If you do it for this amount of time. But every time that time comes up, it's like, well, I just need you for a little more time, right? Because of greed. They don't want to let the golden goose go and set it free. So it's like, it's like someone keeps making these promises that they're going to let you go. They're going to set you free. It might be spiritually speaking, right? Hey, Tanya. It's like you are starting to realize that the greed of other people, that your value is being used in such a way that your energy and your being is not being honored, that the soul contract is not being honored, right? Like you agreed that if I served you for a certain amount of time, that you would set me free. And now, because you have such a value on what I bring into your life, you are not letting me go. I think that if you resonated to Golden Goose, that there is a high value individual, high value, high energy, make someone's life better 100 times over. Like their life would literally not be the same without the gold goose, right? There is someone of high value and the other person is 100%, pardon the word, but there is no more accurate way for me to describe it. It's like an energetic raping of the individual, right? The valuable individual. that they are not free, despite the fact that they have served their term, right? They've served the contract. They've completed the contract. There is no reason for them to be stuck in this situation still serving. And you've got someone sneaky, someone cunning, trying to convince the goose that it's just a little bit more time. It's just a little bit more time. It's not much longer now, right? Almost like they're being lied to about what day it is type shit, like metaphorically speaking. Now's not the time. It's not the best time to separate. It's not the best time to do this right now. I need you. I need you. It's codependency hard. Like the golden goose just wants to be in peace. It wants to be free. And it's got this valuable energy that could literally change the life of anyone it walks into. But everybody wants to trap it. High value energy, and everybody wants to trap it and claim it for themselves and not share it with anybody else. Let's get insight into this. What does this look like? It's almost like if the golden goose were to get free, they would never want to be around people again because they know their value and they know that it's extorted, right? They know that people try and enslave them to serve them and better their lives, right? The golden goose is like, I want to get as far away from people as possible, right? As far away from these people as possible, because they literally just want to use me for the value that I bring into their life, but literally take the value of my life away completely, right? Take the value of my life, my time living away completely. Got the 5 of Cups. What else? I love you, Tanya. Thank you for the super chat. I love you and appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Ooh, here we go, cards. Yeah. Wow. Give me one more. Ten of Wands is on the bottom. 5 of Coins. We got triple 5s out here. You're a change agent. Catalytic change agent. I feel like I have kind of an idea because it's mutual. I feel like with the golden goose energy that these third party energies, whoever they are, beg. I feel like they beg for you to pour on them. Please. Because I would lose everything. I would have nothing without you. You're the most important person. They're controlling you with this guilt, with this false sense of how much they value you. Because if they truly valued you and they loved you, right, 10 of Cups, if they truly valued you and loved you, they would allow you to roam around free, knowing that you would lay eggs for them because you choose to. But they're not trusting in their own worth. They're not trusting in their own ability to love you. So they are locking you away and throwing away the key so that no one else can have you, because they need you more than they feel you need them. And they beg, please help me. Continue to serve me. You're safe here, right? This false sense of security. This person has a long way to go. They want to reap the high manifestation without doing the high aligned work. And it puts the golden goose in conflict with itself because it doesn't know whether it should stay and serve the fox or if it should go after its freedom and let the life of the fox collapse. Because the energy that is taking advantage of the golden goose, right? The energy that is taking care of the golden goose is putting so much pressure on the golden goose. My whole life would collapse without you. My whole life would collapse without you. Please keep pouring your value into me, please. That the goose actually feels a level of guilt for wanting to leave, for wanting its freedom, for wanting to just be who they are, doing what they do, because they know that the person's life would literally collapse. But that is not their fault, right? They're being lied to, deceived with the fox. They feel committed to being locked in this tower and serving potentially their lady. This may be a reading, if you're a dude resonating to these cards, yo, for real. Especially because we got the Emperor out here. It's a burden. It's causing poverty and a fear of poverty, right? Hey, Kristen, how you doing? You're most welcome. Yes, this fear of poverty. It's almost like maybe the golden goose on some level is afraid of being without purpose. Like if they're not laying golden eggs for whoever their human is, right? If they're not putting forth all this value for their human, then what purpose do they have? Then the golden eggs just sit around in the woods somewhere doing nothing, where man can, turn them into coins, can turn them into things that they could sell, right? Can turn them into jewelry and live a lavish life, right? Where the eggs would just be sitting around in the woods doing nothing but being a golden egg, right? So it's almost like the golden goose being involved with their human feels a sense of purpose. Like that's hard. This is controlling, right? This is controlling. Like if I'm not serving this person, then what am I good for? Truly, what good is having all that I have if I can't give it to someone who can use it? I think the poverty, right? The energetic poverty comes from making purpose built on someone else. Like if you look at this 5 of coins, the masculine energy is holding up the house. And the feminine is on her knees saying, please, please keep holding up the house. Hold it up. If you don't hold it up, it's going to fall. If you do not hold up this house, it's going to fall. And the Emperor is holding up this 10 of Cups, the dream, for someone else. The Emperor, in this case, the masculine, man or woman doesn't necessarily matter. But the golden goose is the masculine energy choosing to hold up the reality of someone else and defining their purpose through it. There's a great deal of guilt. Well, what happens if I need to let go? What happens if I don't want to fucking hold it up anymore? What if it's too heavy? What if I feel like I'm about to break? Can you hold it up for a while? Right? Can't you hold it up for a while? And they're like, no, I can't hold it up. I'm not as strong as you. I'm not as capable as you. You have to hold it up. Even if you break and the house falls down and crushes you, you have to hold it up. I surely couldn't do it. Right? No, golden goose. You have to hold up my life, because without you, I surely couldn't do it. Maybe the person in possession of the golden goose is reckless and irresponsible and has a belief system that they are not capable of earning or creating or doing things a different way than what they're doing. They have to steal energy and value from someone else to live a lavish life. They can't create it on their own. They have to take it from someone else. They have to guilt them into staying. I wonder who they learned it from. Let's find out. Darkwood Tarot. Who the fuck did they learn it from? Because we nosy as hell here on the channel. Who did they learn it from? Conflict. We might be dealing with a Libra. There might be children involved. There's some kind of fucking karma here. Listen. If the golden goose got enslaved and put their purpose in the hands of someone else, please give me purpose. I don't know my purpose, so I'm giving it to you. I don't know how valuable I actually am, so I'm just going to give it to you and be enslaved. This is karma. This is karma for not knowing your worth. Them not knowing their worth. Got Aquarian energy on the bottom. I got Arian energy out here twice now. Emperor on top. I got Libra, Aries, Aquarius. Mars, Uranus energy. Venusian energy. They might have learned it from their father or from the men in their lives. This is how you be a man, or this is the kind of man you go get. This is the kind of man you get, right? This is the kind of man you trap. Whatever. They learned it from their father. Their father led the example. Double emperor, that's the patriarch of the family. They obviously did not learn whatever ancestral karma was taking place. Let's see advice. You can't make this shit up. I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. If you want your freedom, Golden Goose, you have to ask for it. Your contract is up. If you don't know your worth, you're going to stay enslaved as long as you want to stay enslaved. The contract's up. You don't owe them anything. Whatever the soul contract was, it's up. It's done. The debt's paid. Past life debt, karmic debt, ancestral, whatever. It's all paid. It's all balanced. You just don't know your worth yet. You want your freedom? Ask. Stop feeling bad. Stop feeling bad for someone else who doesn't know how to hold up their own life, that they have to vampirically siphon it off from someone else, to trap someone else. Essentially what they did, they trapped you and took your value. And now your contract with them is up and you don't know who you are if you're not serving this person. You don't know your purpose. But you're trapped. It's not real. You're not really trapped. You just feel guilty because this whole person's life would fall apart without you, and they made sure you feel that way. You got duped because you didn't know your value. Someone really loved you, they would set you free. All right? If you love it, let it go, and if it comes back, it's yours. Someone let you go, set you free. Then fine. You want to go lay your golden goosey eggs somewhere else? Be my guest. I don't want you for your value. I don't want you for your eggs. I'm not using you. I'm not trapping you. If you love the way I love you, that love is present. You want to go be free? That's what my love does. It sets you free. You know? Your purpose is to not be trapped. Your purpose is to not be abused. Your purpose is to not be taken for granted, I promise you. Your purpose is to be loved. Your purpose is to be loved. You give your value to who you want to give it to, not because you feel obligated or guilty, like you have to. All right. Last but not least, the beanstalk. The beanstalk. The beanstalk. And if we think about the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, right? Jack and the Beanstalk was living in poverty and had only a few coins and was going to the market to trade it for some kind of livestock, some kind of, something to make their family, be able to survive, right? And he comes back with 3 quote unquote magic beans. And his family is pissed, right? Like, you gave everything we had to try and bring our life back to something for 3 magic beans. Are you kidding me? They're like, are you fucking kidding me? You did what? You did what with the life savings? You spent it on what? They're looking at him like he's a fucking fool, right? But something about the beans, there was something about the divine connection between him and the merchant, right, who sold him the beans, that Jack believed. Jack trusted it, despite the fact that it sounded fucking crazy. Sounded crazy to anybody else. And he still bought the beans and listened to the instruction. And lo and behold, the beans grow this massive beanstalk into the sky. And in this massive castle in the clouds, there is a giant and all kinds of treasure and a golden harp that is also locked in a box and trapped, singing the giant to sleep, right? The harp is a magical golden harp that lulls the giant to sleep. And the giant keeps the harp for that reason. It's the giant's most valued possession. It sings them to sleep. And when the giant is angry or volatile, it doesn't matter, because the harp's song calms and soothes the giant into a slumber, right? So what is the overall, the happily ever after with this full moon Virgo? What is the overall energy that you need to be aware of? Because ultimately, you know, not to be a spoiler, you know, if you don't know what Jack and the Beanstalk is, but Jack ends up getting the harp, and his life is better afterwards because of it, right? Because he freed the harp chooses to continue to sing songs, and everybody loves the harp, and Jack's family ends up thriving and all of this stuff, and the giant is, you know, conquered, we'll put it that way, and is no longer a threat. Right, the giant is no longer a threat, and Jack's family thrives more than they ever would if he had spent that money on regular, normal seeds, right? Night, night, Tanya, love you. And we've got the ship and the letter. The ship and the letter. Long distance communication. Heart communication, key communication. You resonated to the Beanstalk. This is your reading, your secret code name, or you were drawn to it. You might have a very important soul connection that is long distance from you right now. Someone potentially being mentally battered. I'm looking at the 10 of Spades on this ship card. Mentally battered by a third party, especially because the letter is the 7 of Spades, which is the 7 of Swords. And yet, someone is the key to the soul work with the 8 of Diamonds on the key. This is master number 33. This is a spiritual teacher. Someone who puts in the work. It's a heart connection. It's a heart connection, even with the Jack of Hearts, which is the Knight of Cups. Even with that, there's communication here. The bouquet is under that. Someone loves you and is trying to get a message across to you, literally or psychically, that they are being beaten. They are being beaten, burdened, challenged by a snake. Thieving mice. They're lost in an illusion bearing the cross of someone else. And they know you. They know that you are meant to be with this person. Whoever is abusing this individual knows you are meant to be with them. Knows it. Someone's being raked across the coals, so to speak, by a third party. And if they want to reach out to you, if they want to communicate to you that they love you, they want that kind of communication out there, and they can't, there's a reason why they can't. And it's a mental reason. I feel like they it's like everything they do is not good enough. It's never enough, no matter what it is. It's never enough. And yet, with your energy, they were always enough, even when they felt like they weren't even close to being good enough for you. Like the golden harp is the key. Wow, look. We're doing the Beanstalk. Look at this fucking card. Spirit drew me to this deck. The Seven of Coins is literally a huge stalk going up into the clouds. What else? What else? They know your worth now. If they didn't before, if they didn't feel deserving of it before, they want it now. There's psychic pings going off that they want to create stability. But there's so many obstacles. Literally, the World card, the completion of a cycle, is clarified by the Five of Coins and the Strength card. That Five of Coins energy that had the masculine holding up the house, the Strength card also shows the masculine holding up Olympus, holding up the world. They're inside the storm while the temple up top is basking in the sunlight. They're in poverty. They're holding everything up right now with what is no doubt like godlike strength. Whoever this is a powerful person. Energetically, they're really fucking powerful. They're being destroyed, like mentally, financially, spiritually. I'm literally hearing it over and over. Raked across the coals. Raked across the coals. I feel like you've got the key to somebody's heart. And they want to talk to you so fucking bad. They want to talk to you about reciprocity. They want to talk to you about giving you all that you deserve. They want to talk to you about stability and long-term and agreeing. That they don't have to hold up this world anymore. I feel like the world is literally like, it's crashing. It's crashing down on them. It's brutal. Whatever they're going through, it's brutal. They want to be free of it. They want to be sovereign. They're at this crossroads, choosing between holding up the world that they're holding up and letting it crash on them, that it would kill them. If they stay in this alignment with whoever or whatever situation this is, the amount of pressure that they're taking spiritually, financially, psychologically, mentally, like it's going to be the death of them. They stick in this cycle, it's literally going to be the death of them. They know it. They know it. They cannot continue to hold on to this impoverished state, being the strength that holds it all up. It is literally too heavy. The crosses that they're bearing are too heavy. The Saturnian energy, right? That big spotlight in Pisces. It is too heavy. It is breaking their spirit. It is breaking their mind. And I think they're dealing with some kind of prophetic energy where they know if they stick around in this energy, it's going to kill them. Like they want to communicate with you and get out of this. Wow. More insight, please. Vice versa, tarot. Yeah, they're in full-blown fucking panic mode. They have no idea what to do. They might be drinking themselves to fucking death. No idea what to do. Like, hands up. I don't know what to do. They're drowning. They're drowning. They're getting all kinds of pings. All kinds of pings. I got the 8 of Wands out twice now. They don't know how to go back. 3 of Wands reversed with the 6 of Swords reversed. They don't know how to go back. They feel like they created such an imbalance with you. Getting into whatever they got into. The regret is thick. They feel like your love has left them. That you no longer love them. You no longer have emotion for them, that you're cold. That your back is to them. And yet they're being divinely inspired to burn whatever the situation is down to the fucking ground that they're in. I don't think they can actually walk towards you or come towards you until they choose to let it go first. I think you're divinely protected right now. You're stable right now. You've got wish fulfillment, 9 of Cups, 10 of Coins right now. They're probably spying on you. It's like they're putting on some fucking circus act, some fucking show. They're putting on this show, juggling everything. And the ship passed them by. Like they were so busy putting on a performance. They broke their own fucking heart. That's wild. They're going to have to heal and come clean with the Empress energy. They're going to have to take a leap of faith. They're going to have to take a leap of faith on their intuition. Watch what happens with the total solar eclipse in April, on April 8th, 9th, April 8th. That is going to be pivotal for whoever this is. I think you're happily ever after. If you are the person I'm talking about, the person actually being raked through the coals, you might have to take every last penny you've got, even if it's literally just change, and take a leap of faith on some divine guidance because you fucking trust it and let it turn out to be more valuable than you could have ever imagined. And if you are not the one being raked through the coals, if you are the one that is sensing this psychic connection, knowing you are the key for someone else, humbly knowing you are the key, the golden harp, right, that calms the soul. I think you just need to be patient and wait divine time. Because this person spirit is literally throwing everything at them. Everything. I feel like you're happily ever after, honest to God. If I'm going to be honest, okay? Brutal honesty. Either they're going to drop whatever it is that is burdening them and come rushing towards you, and you will have your happily ever after with them. Or the reality is literally going to be the death of them, which means they can no longer choose, right? Because they don't exist in this life anymore. If it literally is the death of them and they can no longer choose that high line choice to come towards you and give the happily ever after, that at that moment, the soul contract you have with them will reset and you will manifest someone else, and that will be your happily ever after. I do not feel like you're going to meet your happily ever after person or be in that happily ever after situation until this person has every opportunity to make the choice. Like, this is a powerful person. This is probably a really high soul contract. You want to talk about divine counterparts or whatever. This is your person. And either they are going to choose to be with you or they're not. It's literally falling on their shoulders right now, because wherever you are, I think you're sitting pretty. I think you're sitting pretty doing what you're doing. Being the golden harp, just doing what you're doing. You're out of harm's way. You're admired by whatever it is that is in possession of you. You're being kept for safekeeping, right? You're the most valuable asset. You're being kept in safekeeping. And whoever is meant to come and find you is going to come and find you. And if it's not your person, it's going to be someone else. But I don't think that someone else is going to come until this person's exhausted their ability to choose in this life. So long as you are living, you have a choice. I feel like this person they do not have all the time in the world. And I think they know that. They do not have all the time in the world. They're in need of some serious fucking healing. They're in desperate need of your soul song. Hopefully they learned your worth and treat you better. I don't think they couldn't. Because I think the consequence of that would be worse than whatever they're going through. To be fair. To be fair. With that, This is the full moon in Virgo secret code name reading conclusion. I'm going to wrap up and prepare for all of my intention candles with my beautiful Divine Rebels and Soul Star members. If you would like to join and be a member with us, you can do that on the page. You can do that via the link that I have in the description of all the videos. We would love to have you. Until next time, everyone. See you later.